I want to introduce our guest to you immediately, distinguished guest tonight, Zeev Fragachan, security and defense expert. He has also served 10 years in the special forces of the Israeli army. Thank you very much for joining us. What a pleasure. Generally speaking, I was saying that this is the chronicle of a foretold attack.
Look, after the last war in which Israel bombed Iran for 12 days, many things happened. The vulnerability of the Iranian government regarding air defense was demonstrated. The Israelis, from the first moment, we were able to take control of the Iranian sky. We decapitated in the first 45 minutes of the campaign. The entire top brass of the Iranian armed forces was eliminated. About 45 minutes to 2 hours later, they were replaced, and less than 12 hours later, we eliminated the entire top brass again. The life expectancy of any of these individuals was very short. That evidently reinforced the belief and the intelligence we already had and had provided to the United States that it was possible to carry out an extensive air campaign that was what they call, in English, cost-effective. However, the last thing that happened after more than hundreds of thousands of Iranians took to the streets to protest, to try to change the course of this country, well, it evidently told the United States and the world to help us to be able to eliminate this. This war is not against the Iranian people. This war is against the Ayatollahs.
Sure.
This war is against the Iranian Revolutionary Guard.
The problem now also arises because I was saying that this is an enemy, in the case of the Revolutionary Guard, that has no face. It's an enemy without an army. They have a faction, the Quds Force, which is the one outside. There are almost 15,000 or 20,000 members.
The only way Iran can project power beyond its borders is through its ballistic missiles, its long-range drones, and international terrorism. The country that has, I'd say, the masterclass in world terrorism is in Iran. Iran has created Hezbollah, it has created Hamas, it has transferred know-how on how terrorism is done, not only to Sunni forces, to Shia forces in the world, also to the Sunnis. They've been able to merge all of this. Now, there's something that your other guest just said that really caught my attention, and honestly, it's this, and it's absolutely true. We really have to understand that that particular group, the Revolutionary Guard and the Ayatollahs, are central here. This group of people is fighting for their lives. Right now, they have nothing to lose because they've already lost everything else. That's why they're attacking in such an irrational way. They have nothing to lose. They're fighting for their lives. There's no country that will take them in if the government falls. And even more importantly, if they fall into the hands of the protesters, the Iranians, their lives are over too. When you have nothing to lose, you're very dangerous. And that's what we're seeing. I'm actually more concerned about terrorist cells operating around the world than about long-range missiles that will obviously kill people, because we've already seen it happen and people have already died. But those will run out. This campaign will last until there's no more production of long-range missiles and drones. What will happen at that point? What will happen when they can effectively communicate with their cells abroad and terrorist attacks begin?
I think there are more possibilities now, and we're seeing it, to be able to prevent those types of
attacks. Yes, but as I'm telling you, I'm not expecting, I'm almost certain it won't be an attack on a plane or at an airport. I'm sure it'll be what we've seen in the last 6 months to 1 year, vehicle attacks, ramming attacks, that is running over as many people as possible with a vehicle. How are you going to prevent that?
And especially because we should also remember, and this is the point and what one has to keep in mind,
that sometimes coincidences don't exist. Look at everything that happened in Venezuela, how the United States has managed to secure that oil reserve, the largest oil reserves in the world. It has managed to transform this whole dynamic in the Caribbean in its favor. Nothing is accidental. This was planned, scheduled a long time in advance. Again, the 12-day war showed us the vulnerability of the Iranians in terms of air power. They haven't been able to do anything. They couldn't do anything in 12 days, and right now they won't be able to either. This is the Iranian government right now. It is desperate. Rodrigo said it perfectly. They are attacking everyone they can attack. Many nations that were totally neutral, and now they are against them. Again, we are seeing history being written. We are seeing the final days of the Iranian regime. And again, once that regime is no longer in the Middle East, peace in the Middle East is just around the corner. For us in Israel, it's, look, I get goosebumps because I think we've grown up our whole lives waiting for this to happen. I was born waiting, and I want everyone, Rodrigo, myself, my family, my friends, everyone who is in Israel, we are really waiting to be at peace. We in Israel, the only thing that we want is for them to leave us alone. It really is that. No, there isn't much more to it. We don't want more territory. We want what we have